We will be here hiking along the Sipsey Fork of the Black Warrior River, all for the duration of our hike today. And before we start, I want to point out that there are very many special things about this area. When we crossed the bridge over there, crossed the wooden bridge and looked upstream, we were looking into the Sipsey River, into the Sipsey Wilderness. When we look downstream from that bridge, we are looking into the Bankhead National Forest. So the road that we came in on here, County Road 6, which is locally known as Cranel Road, is the southern boundary of the Sipsey Wilderness. So we are right on the edge of the wilderness here. And also, another really significant thing about this area is that the Sipsey Fork is Alabama's only wild and scenic designated river. And it begins right here in the Sipsey Wilderness and flows for 61 miles down to Smith Lake. And it was designated as a wild and scenic river back in 1988 just because it has such outstanding characteristics of wildness and amazing biodiversity, and it's just stunningly beautiful. So this is the river we'll be on today. And if you ever, when you come to hike this trail on your own, please stop and read the sign and learn more about the wild and scenic river designation. When we normally do our Wild Wednesday hikes, there are about 15 kids and adults here with me. Today we're doing things differently, as we are doing many things differently in our lives. And I want to introduce our teacher and friend that I have that's with me today to be on the hike, and also our videographer. Heather Montgomery is a writer and a teacher, and Chris Davenport is a videographer and also a teacher.
And I brought with me my dog today. Her name is Piper, and she's looking forward to exploring the wild, wacky wilderness area.
And we're happy to see that Piper is on a leash. And it's always fine to bring your dog out into the wilderness or the national forest, and having them leashed is a really good idea because it makes a lot of people feel safer. It's safer for wildlife. It's just a good experience, better experience for everybody.
Safer for her too.
Yeah.
Always a good thing, right, Pipe?
Yes.
Good girl.
So, let's start with a safety talk, just briefly, because this is what we would do if all the kids were here with us today. Because when we can be safe on a hike, it's a lot more fun. So, some things we're going to watch out for today is slips, trips, and falls. We'll be on a trail that's fairly easy, but there's still lots of roots and rocks and slippery places, so we'll just be sensible about where we're putting our feet. We're going to watch out for cool things like snakes, and if we see a snake, we're going to stop and admire it from a respectful distance. And then we're going to watch out for the most dangerous thing that we will encounter here today. Ticks.
Ticks! Oh no! Run, hide! Everybody! Oh wait, what's a tick?
A tick is a tiny little insect that does carry disease. So, when you get home this evening, do a very thorough tick check all over your body. Do it again tonight and check again tomorrow, because they don't always show up right away.
Yeah, they like to hang out in the little warm places, and that's where they like to hide.
Yep.
In all the creases and crevices. Mm-hmm. That's their favorite spot.
Yep. So watch out for ticks. And you might want to use some tick spray when you come out here. We're going to watch out for poison ivy, which we'll
definitely find some of that.
Right here.
Oh, you found it already. Jess.
Already. Chris, can you get a shot of the poison ivy? This is poison ivy. As you see, it has 3 leaves, and there's a little touch of red usually on the stem. It has a little notch in the leaf right here.
Hey Janice, can I show you a trick I learned?
Yes, Heather.
So poison ivy, the crazy thing about it is it varies a lot, right? There's all kinds of different forms, but around here in North Alabama, this is common. The middle leaf of poison ivy often has those little pointy things, those little teeth on both sides of the leaf. All right, we'll look at the real leaf in just a second. The side 2 leaves often only have their teeth on the lower side. So you can do this with your hands, and it helps to do it with your hands because then you'll really remember, right? Put your hands out, and the middle leaf often has teeth on both sides, and then slide your hands down like this, and you see how the top part is smooth and the bottom is toothed? Try that. Look at this plant again and see if you can't see that. Now I'm going to tell you it's not true for every single poison ivy because they like to trick you, but I see it on this one.
Yep.
You see it right there? The middle leaf right here with teeth on both sides, and the side leaves that are smooth on the top and toothed on the bottom. Tricky, tricky. The more you know, the more you can look and see those details. Because there's lots of plants that have 3 leaves out there and it can be confusing. So train your eye to look at the little details and you'll discover all kinds of amazement out in the wilderness.
Very good. Thank you, Heather. Excellent.
It's a great trick.
Yes, it is. Okay, and let's see, what else are we going to be looking out for today as we go along to stay safe? Well, we're going to make sure that we drink plenty of water because it's going to be a hot day.
Got my water.
And we're going to have a snack when we need it so that we'll have plenty of energy.
We need to stay together. That's really another
Staying together on the trail is very important. But we don't want to stay too close together because we want to stay safe from the coronavirus even when we're outside. Very, very important. So today we have brought masks that we will put on if we have need to get close to each other. And we have hand sanitizer just in case we have to touch something that somebody else has handled. So even if we're outside, we still practice social distancing and hand sanitation. Anything else for safety?
I think we're ready to go. We may discover things along the way.
I think we will.
And we'll come back to those as we go.
Okay.
Let's head out.
We're going to start hiking downstream on the Sipsey Fork. And this little trail goes in and out of coves. So we'll be seeing some waterfalls. And we'll have the river on our left all the way.
I can't wait.
Around. Before we get down the trail any further, we want to take a minute to talk about leave no trace. Leave no trace is something that we practice every time we're in the forest, whether we're in the wilderness or in the national forest. Any kind of place, even in a park, a city park, you practice leave no trace. And you can read about Leave No Trace online at lnt.org. So before you come out on a hike, go have a look and learn about Leave No Trace, and it'll help you to have a much better hiking or camping experience. And I want to show you what I carry in my backpack for a day hike. I have a small backpack that I use for day hikes. And in it, I carry essentials that I would need for the day. Number one, a map. Very important to know where you're going. I have a hat, first aid kit. And if you don't have a whole first aid kit, just take something like the most essential items, Band-Aids, some antibacterial ointment, In the summertime, I like to take a little bag of baking soda in case of insect stings. And also, if you have allergic reaction to insect stings that are a real concern, remember to take your EpiPen. Most important, food. Also super important, plenty of drinking water. And today, this is a very short hike, so I just brought 1 bottle of water. But also, since it's a hot day, I also brought something with electrolytes. So I brought coconut water, and of course Gatorade also works great for electrolytes. Always have a source of light in addition to your cell phone, because cell phone batteries die. I like to carry a notebook and pen in case I want to draw or make a note about something. And also, the voice recorder on my phone is really good for taking notes or reminding myself of something I want to write later. Today I brought field guides, Alabama trees and wildflowers, and also a field guide of reptiles and amphibians for our area. And trash bag, because there is always trash. Got a snack. And Heather and Chris, what do you carry in your backpacks that I haven't mentioned here today?
You've got all kinds of good stuff that I like to carry too, but because I have my dog, I have extra water and a bowl for her, a fold-up bowl. And I always get cold, so I bring an extra layer. Today it's a rain jacket, and something I always carry because I'm a nature nerd and I love to look close at little things. A special tool called a loop. We'll look at them more later. It's my favorite piece of equipment for getting up close with nature. What about you, Chris? What do you bring?
I always bring a small pocket knife, and just in case, water treatment tablets.
Smart, smart. Are we ready to go?
I think I'm ready to go.
I'm excited. I think Piper's ready to go. Let's hit the trail.
Let's go.
Sure. Look at that.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Well, somebody just didn't take their trash with them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that leave no trace thing, right? We don't want to leave our trash here for someone else to have to look at.
So one of the principles of leave no trace is dispose of waste properly. So we have an example here of how to not dispose of your trash. We'll pick this up on the way out.
Great. That's why you brought the garbage bag, right?
That's right. Yep.
Exactly.
Now he's breakdancing. So in the beginning in our safety talk, we talked about ticks and how to avoid them, how to, that we pick them off when we find them. Well, this is a tick. And it's a little insect that's in the arachnid family, so it's related to spiders. And they have sucking mouth parts that they attach to animals to suck blood and nutrients. And this is an adult tick. And since we are out here in the wild, I'm going to release this tick back into the forest. I won't mash him, but if I was at home and I found this tick, I would dispose of it by flushing it down the toilet or killing it, because we don't want them and we don't want to bring them into our environment. Tick. So we have we're on the return of our hike. So we're going to start picking up trash now. So here we are at a campsite, fire ring, which is actually illegal in this recreation area. So there's a lot of stuff going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes people tend to just leave their trash in a fire ring, and that's not okay.
We already picked up plastic and aluminum foil out of here. Some gross stuff.
Yeah. And there's also orange peelings.
Wait, what's wrong with putting orange peels in there? They're just food, right?
Yes, they are just food for humans.
Oh.
And orange peels don't belong here.
Oh.
It's like, if it didn't grow here, it shouldn't be left here.
But don't the animals need food, Janice?
They do.
What kind of food do they need?
Wild food that they find themselves.
You know, one time I was at a campsite where there were a bunch of animals, like raccoons and stuff, that were a problem. They were getting themselves in trouble, but they were just coming there because people left food for them, and they didn't know it was not a good idea to be there.
Exactly.
It was not healthy for the people or the animals.
Right. Because when wild animals become used to human food, they become habituated to humans. And the wild animal is nearly always at the losing end of that relationship.
Yeah.
Because there's
dangers.
There are dangers, and so when we are out camping or hiking or whatever, we want to minimize our contact with wild things.
We want to let them be wild.
We want to let them be wild and eat wild food. So, if it didn't grow here, it shouldn't be left here.
Is that part of Leave No Trace?
Yes. So in Leave No Trace, this would be which principle? It could be respect wildlife.
Yes, definitely.
It could be dispose of waste properly.
That's for sure. Camp and hike on durable surfaces. This person obviously didn't camp on a surface that should have been camped on.
And what about plan ahead and prepare?
Yeah, if you didn't prepare to take your trash out, you didn't prepare well.
That's right.
Good.
Maybe they forgot to bring a trash bag.
Maybe.
Maybe they'll do better next time.
That's right. Now that we know, we can do better.